This has got to be one of our favourites, Jack Puller of Canyon Iceberg, the 2012 National Hill Climb champion. He won the Tour Series in Aberdeen last year. He's looking to try and beat that time of Ed Clancy, and beat it he does. The win goes to Jack Puller, but Madison Genesis topping the table. A fantastic ride by former National Hill Climb champion Jack Puller, followed by 4 Madison Genesis riders in the top 6. The first time the women have raced here in Durham this year's Tour Series. The women's race in every round, and we are off and racing. And Anna Henderson's got good power, but Nikki Juniper, she whitewashed the sprints in Aberdeen and just takes a little glance back over her shoulder. Really revs high in the sprints, does Nikki Juniper, so she takes maximum points on that one.
As we're coming into the next sprint then, and let's see if it's going to be Juniper again. Certainly looks like it.
And Nikki Juniper crosses the line again, just pedals over the line and takes maximum points.
Looks like Henderson is not actually all that bothered about the sprint points to me. Oh, there's a problem here for Henderson.
Anna Henderson is waving to the pits, and you can see front wheel puncture.
Yeah, that's not ideal, definitely not. And she's waving here to try and get her mechanic to spot and then take a bike change or a wheel change very, very quickly. Clearly, not quite quick enough with that change.
Jumps off the bike, tries to get on as quickly as possible. That's not working for her.
Wasn't even her bike by the looks of it.
And that's a shame. That could have been quite a quick change there for Anna Henderson, but this is going to be tough to try and come back to Nikki Juniper now.
I think that'd be borderline impossible.
Into the final corner though, Nikki Juniper sees the line ahead of her. It's going to be 2 weeks and 2 victories in that Iceberg Sprints jersey, and she takes her 2nd win of this year's Tour Series. Got a lot of celebrations for the team, and just goes over, and that's very sporting, isn't it, of Nikki Juniper. Nikki Juniper makes it 2 wins in a row here in Durham. Anna Henderson of Team On Form was her closest challenger, with NJC teammate Gabby Shaw taking 3rd. Team Breeze, though, are still in the green OVO Energy leaders jerseys, but NJC are hot on their heels, with Story Racing lying in wait in 3rd. And the men ready for the off. This is actually take 2 this evening. We had a bit of a tumble just in sight of the start line, so they've come back round to restart. And this very famous Durham course. The 2 leaders in this competition, the dominant riders, going clear.
Yeah, and it's all about coming into that corner first and to get that, and this will see the power output as well. Not quite as high as you would expect, still powerful kick out of that final corner, but it's still that climb will have taken the edge off them a little bit.
Matt Gibson from Robert Scott, Connor Swift and McAvoy with Clegg sweeping up those minor points. That leading group all coming back together as we headed towards Sprint 2. Robert Scott leading out from Matt Gibson. These 2 riders looking like the real favourites in the sprint competition as they came up towards the line. It was pretty much the same order across the line as the first sprint, with Matt Gibson taking it from Robert Scott, with Connor Swift and Johnny McAvoy switching places, and Gabs Clegg again taking that 1 point. Gibson now gets the front as they take the right-hander into the straight out of that corner. Look at the power, though, of Gibson. Robert Scott almost sat up there in defeat, but Gibson crosses the line. Daylight to spare between himself and the rest of the riders.
Yeah, definitely. But it didn't look like Scott there. He's got a problem with his bike. That's why he didn't sprint. Something has gone wrong with that bike. So straight away, quick bike change.
Rear wheel puncture, it looked like there for Robert Scott. And there, that's how it's done. Quickly back up, and he should be able to get back in.
Yeah, Tennant is certainly looking like he's going very, very strong here, but the cobblestones is holding the riders back, and it's who's got the legs as they hit the tarmac. That's where you make the difference.
Long move here for Connor Swift. Andy Tennant just clawing his way across that gap. He's into the slipstream now of Connor Swift. Goes up the barriers. Swift just has to move slightly. Andy Tennant, the man you picked out there, Magnus, lining up for this one. He's past Connor Swift. Swift was second last year. Tennant throws himself through through the final corner. Canyon Iceberg, they took the hill climb with Jack Puller. They're going to make it the double here in Durham. Andy Tennant takes it. Connor Swift takes second. And the sprint behind is taken by Matt Gibson. But now we're looking for those jerseys. Madison Genesis packing this front group. It's going to be that fourth man that counts. Andy Tennant of Canyon Iceberg then taking the win by nearly 2 seconds. JLT Condors Matt Gibson a further 5 seconds back. Coupled with their dominance in the hill climb, Madison Genesis now have a 4-point lead from Canyon Iceberg and defending champions JLT Condor in third.